Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you chose to join me today here in the Sith Academy, as we probably killed a bunch of them. We'll see how that goes. I kind of want to do the quest, but I don't want to gain light points or anything, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. Let's have a chat with Jolie.
Got something on your mind, do you?
Something on your mind? Yeah, you mentioned something about your adventuring days.
Did I say that? Strange the tricks memory plays on you when you get older.
So you weren't an adventurer?
Didn't I say that my past was my affair? You don't see me poking and prodding you with questions.
I don't remember you saying that. Your memory must be acting up or something again, or I don't know. You're just not used to company. Stop being an old coot.
I might be, but a mouthy young thing like yourself shouldn't get to call me an old coot, damn it. And besides, you don't really want to hear about me. We're talking ancient history, probably before you were born. History bores kids. Proven fact.
I'm sorry, Sarevok. I can't forget that you're Sarevok. It's so ever-present. You have such a Sarevok voice. Well, old people here love to talk about history. Proven fact. Scientifically proven. I'm sure, because that's a thing.
Oh, fine, fine. Have it your way. Just don't cry about it later. Yes, I was an adventurer. Happy now? I wasn't even done with my Jedi training back then. I had a full head of hair and an eagerness to see absolutely everything. Sound familiar? The Council was never happy with willful, brash Jolie Bindo, you see. Even less so when I began my smuggling career.
You were a smuggler? The more question is, what were you smuggling? Because I was smuggling the thing. What's the bubblegum? That's right. Like, yeah. What did you smuggle? Can I ask that? No. A Jedi would never be a smuggler! Exclamation mark. How did that happen?
At the time, the Yukata system was interdicted by its own king. He preferred to keep his people starving and poor, all the better to oppress them. The Senate was trying to negotiate a peace, but they were getting nowhere as usual. I decided I wasn't going to wait.
See?
I found myself a ship and a partner, and we began smuggling food and supplies to the Yukata citizenry through the blockade.
See, he wasn't a smuggler anyway. He was just a humanitarian rescue mission trooper or something. Was it very dangerous?
Oh, it was. I was a half-decent pilot in those days, and with the Force guiding me, we made it through some tough spots nobody else would have.
You were a pilot too?
Pilot, smuggler, several other things too. Or did you suppose I was always a crotchety hermit?
Where did you get the credit for all the supplies?
Well, we didn't buy all the equipment per se.
Okay.
Some were happy to donate goods. Some we just knew had more than they could use.
So you stole it?
Stole is such a harsh word.
No, it's not.
They would have donated those goods readily enough if they were compassionate. I considered it a tax on the greedy. We only got caught once. A lone Yukatish frigate shot us down and forced a crash landing. I thought the Force had abandoned me, as I remember.
Huh. Not for the first time. Am I right? No. What happened then?
Well, as it happens, getting shot down turned out to be very fortunate. That day was the day I...
Can I just not say anything?
Well, that was the day I met my wife.
What? Wait a minute, what? You don't like your wife? I'm so... What? Well, bad memory, I take it? What?
No, that was a good memory.
Okay.
There are just much worse ones that followed.
Oh.
If it's all the same to you, I'd prefer to stop talking now. My mouth is starting to draw flies.
Yeah, I figured. I heard that, the flies.
Got something on your mind, do you?
So what do you think of Sunry's verdict? Oh, we never talked about that.
Innocent.
Nah.
I don't know what to make of it, to tell the truth. Do you think justice has been done?
Good question. Why didn't I think of that? It's interesting how one just sort of forgets about some of the pretty important questions in the middle of all of this, to be honest, when we start actually trying to do something. I was mostly concerned with how I would be judged in his position. Never really concerned about justice. Mostly because justice as a concept tends to be very volatile. Was justice done? Well, I think no. I think it wasn't done. But but to the extent where justice could have been done in that scenario, yes. The problem is when you ask for was justice done, you kind of assume that it is the first off, it is the role of the tribunal, or what was that called? The judge, council, or whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's the role of that place to actually make justice, and more importantly, that you can make justice. And that's not the case. So it's neither the role to make justice, and also it wasn't possible to make justice. The way he treated his wife wasn't fair. The way he acted as a spy wasn't fair. The way he treated the Jedi Knight wasn't fair. And killing the Jedi Knight was totally fair. The Jedi, Dark Jedi, was totally fair because screw them, and because they're weird. Also weird. But mostly because they're weird, and that's mostly it, really. I mean, I don't really hold them in evil regard. Dark Jedi, Light Jedi, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's the problem is that they're weird. That's like, oh, you don't use the Force, so you're supposed to use the Force. We've had this discussion before. Last episode, in fact. So I'm gonna say that it was, but with the huge caveat that I just said.
I see. I am not so sure.
You know nothing.
If he did kill that woman,
he did.
Sunry's going to have to live with that on his conscience. And if he's justified her death in his mind, well, Sunry was a good man once. I only hope that is still the case. I enjoyed his company. I don't want to talk about this anymore. My jaw aches.
And the flies. Must be all the flies.
Got something on your mind?
So, do you know anything about this place?
Korriban's a rock. Mind the Sith. And that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going.
Okay.
Oh, I get it. Let's play with the old man's head, is it?
Okay. Yeah. I was like, what are you talking about? No.
How may I be of assistance to you, Padawan?
Hi, how's it going? I was wondering if we could talk?
What is it you would like to speak to me about?
Nothing.
Of course.
Of course. See? No play mind tricks. That guy's just, I don't know what the best... Oh, Dark Jedi Knight robe. I need a Jedi Master robe. I think that's what I have. Let's see. I have a Dark Jedi Master robe. Yeah, this one is just worse. Designed for those who relish personal combat and know that powers come from those who take it. Really? What about this one? To offer superior protection while still allowing full freedom of movement. They are the robes of the true masters, those whose will and authority go unopposed. Will? Is that even allowed? I suppose it is. Will itself isn't a thing. Yeah, we need to talk to Yuthuraban, because she's gonna be the one who is gonna take us through the next little steps and all that sort of stuff.
Ah, there you are. My favorite prospect for the year.
Oh, really? Okay. What do you mean?
Absolutely. By my estimation, you are far more likely to achieve the prestige necessary to join the Sith than any of the others. As a matter of fact, I am so certain of that I'm willing to offer you an opportunity of the once-in-a-lifetime variety. Would you like to hear it?
Absolutely.
Good. I do so adore someone who's willing to take a chance. As I said, you're no doubt going to be the one whom Uthar chooses to become a Sith. With my help, of course. Once that occurs, he will take you into the Valley of the Dark Lords to the tomb of Nagasado to administer the final test. There you and I will be alone with him. The perfect time to, shall we say, arrange for a change in the Academy's leadership.
What's so important about this tomb?
The tomb is an ancient ruin on the surface that was visited years ago by Darth Revan and Darth Malak. They discovered a star map there of great importance.
You don't say. Well, the Master loves tombs, don't you, Master?
Reaching that map, as they did, is part of the final test. At any rate, it is not the tomb that is important. That Uthar will be alone is what is important.
So, what's your part in all this?
My part in this is to help you gain enough prestige and slow down the progress of the other hopefuls. I want you in that tomb when the time is right.
I don't like the sound of that.
We destroy Master Uthar together and I take his place. And you take your place at my side. A beautiful plan in its sheer simplicity.
Is it what is it? How do I know this isn't some test?
You must not know much about the Sith yet. If Uthar were even to suspect that I might be trying to supplant him, true or not, well, let's just say he wouldn't likely stop to ask too many questions before ensuring I was dealt with.
And what's to stop me from telling him about this?
I suppose you could do that.
Oh, okay.
Even the hint of betrayal from his pupil and Uthar would move to eliminate me. But this is a very good opportunity for you.
Is it?
You can start off your Sith career as the right hand of the head of the Academy.
Oh, okay.
Me, Uthar will not offer you that. Do you believe Uthar would not be aware of this? He would quickly figure out what you have to gain by betraying him, and would never believe someone would pass that up. Tell Master Uthar what you wish. Were I you, I would think first of what the consequences of such an action might be.
Oh, yeah. It's fine. So, I don't want to be part of this.
You are already part of this. Don't be a fool.
I want to test you.
I will begin to make preparations for your final test. Your only worry now is to get there. Don't disappoint
No
me.
choices, huh? No choices. So what about this prestige? How do I get more?
You must impress Master Uthar.
Oh, there it is.
Go to him with news of your deeds.
Oh, yeah.
Or artifacts you have discovered. The first and easiest way would be for you to learn the code of the Sith and speak it to him. I can teach you that, if you like. Shall I go on?
Can you tell me about the code first?
I can help you understand it. Would you like to hear it? Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me. Simple words, yet easily misunderstood. Would you care for me to explain anything?
So, peace is a lie, there is only passion?
The Jedi would have you believe that peace is a desirable goal. That peace of the spirit is the way the Force is mastered. That a lack of conflict betters man. We know different. It is our passion, our hate, and our desire that fuels the Force. It is conflict that improves the lot of civilization and single being both. Conflict forces one to better oneself. It forces change, growth, adaptation, evolution, or death. These are not our laws, but the universe's. Without conflict, you have only stagnation.
But therein lies the problem with this whole thing. It's good that she said it the way she did. Conflict does, I mean, what she's talking about here, if this was said in isolation, then I wouldn't really be able to argue against that. The conflict and the strife and what they see as conflict and strife does force you to change and to become better at whatever it is that you're doing. But that has too many holes, and it's a very simplistic worldview. Now, she actually went on to explain why that is. It forces change, growth, adaptation, evolution. And it's interesting that it's like separated by these ellipses. Yeah, so adaptation, evolution, or death. And now the problem here is the misconception, the very, very common misconception of what evolution actually means. That probably comes from just old school theories, Darwinist theories, I'm sure, from the theory of evolution, which has its own merits, but it is flawed in its view of what actually happens, because evolution is a qualitative judgment. You can't say that, for example, you can't objectively say that, for example, Homo erectus, for example, is worse than a Homo sapiens. You can see the evolution, but it's not for the better. Or, I mean, I guess in that case it is, but it's not necessarily for the better, and we see that in animals quite a lot. And actually, there are theories that like, for example, I'm not sure. I don't think they are actually proven. They're just sort of hypotheses, really. So there's some hypotheses that the Homo neanderthalis was actually smarter than the Homo sapiens is, or, you know, just not necessarily smarter, because of course society has way more to do with how smart anyone is rather than their normal brain size. But, you know, there's some discussion regarding that. So there, the evolution would kind of have regressed a little bit, but it's still evolution. It still evolves into something else. It's called natural selection. That's the better theory, the theory that encompasses everything, and that actually strips the theory itself out of the judgment of being better. And of course, the problem is people see that as, you know, it's the old thing of the little, I don't know, chipmunk or something, and then the monkeys, and then the apes, and then the big apes, and then the gorillas that aren't even our antecessors because they are a different branch or whatever, and just the man, or I don't remember how that is, but there's you know the picture that I'm talking about, or maybe that's the multiple homos. But I don't remember. But anyway, that's that sort of mindset that it gets better and better and better is flawed, and, well, it's biased more than flawed. It is flawed, but the problem is conflict doesn't force you to better yourself. It forces you to adapt. But adaptation, which is an interesting word, and I didn't even know it existed, but I think it does. Adaptation, actually, I thought it was adaptation, but yeah, that doesn't mean you're getting better. Imagine the world, like, we see that, for example, if you've played The Witcher, and you know, for example, The Witcher 1, if you played The Witcher 1 until the end, then you see the Homo Novus, or whatever. There's some evolution of mankind. The Witcher 3 also deals with them, and there's actually, I think it's Metro 2033 that has also sort of the new evolution of mankind, and we see that time and again. Like, for example, Doctor Who has that as well, even though it's cybernetic. There's a lot of fiction that deals with that, of the next stage of mankind, and sometimes they actually regress in a lot of things, and it's still evolution. It's still sort of the genes and all that just getting naturally selected into a concise race or a concise species that actually supplants the other or goes on to make it to be its own thing. So that's what natural selection is. That's how that works. So the problem is, to sum it up, conflict forces you to adapt. It doesn't force you to be better. And I think that should be obvious, but there are reasons why it's obvious. But anyway, I'm glad I'm glad she went on to explain how that works. So strength becomes passion becomes strength. Yeah, there it is.
What fuels your power with the Force but your passion?
Peace.
The stronger, darker emotions. Anger, hatred, fear.
Or peace.
These passions empower us.
And peace as well. Because that's another thing she failed to acknowledge. The light side fuels their force with peace. These guys fuel their force with passion. And of course that shows two sides of the same coin, I suppose, of the same coin that is the Force. But what she said was they don't know different. They don't know different. They're not disproving that the light side feed their Force with their peace. There's just a different way of getting the Force, and a different Force at that, which is even less disproving. What about love? Yeah, let's go with that.
Love is more dangerous than all those things.
It's also a lie.
Love leads to anger and hatred more often than not.
Also a lie.
But it also leads to mercy, which is far worse. That, however, is a lesson for another time.
I would like to learn that lesson so I could dismantle it. Yeah, love. What is love? It's just hope and fear. It's just those things mixed together. And that's why terrible things. Those seem like awfully negative passions.
Negative? Compared to what?
Compared to peace.
What keeps even the most rudimentary creature alive?
Peace.
Fear to run.
Or peace.
Anger to fight.
Or peace.
Without it, a creature would most surely
die.
die.
But with peace, they wouldn't. See the flaws? Are you saying we weren't anything more than a rudimentary creature? That's also another thing, actually. The naturalistic nature of their argument is a great downfall, a great shortcoming in the dark side, is the fact that, you know, it's always the way nature is, so that's the way things must be. That's the fundamental flaw of this argument. That's why it's a fallacy, because just because something is doesn't mean that's how it ought to be, yeah, so that's how it goes. Let's go with the rudimentary creature thing.
We are far more than
Are
men,
we?
perhaps. But in some ways, we are little different.
Some ways.
To think us creatures beyond the need of simple passions is a delusion.
Oh, so you think... Oh. So you think rudimentary creatures need simple passions? And we need simple passions? Seems a little bit generalistic. So the Jedi say the opposite. How can both be right? That kind of goes on to what I was saying before.
The Force gives us all power, even the Jedi. It is our mastery of our passion that gives us the strength they lack.
Do they? Do they like that? They also have spells and casts that, you know, are light exclusive.
It is our goal to be stronger, to achieve our potential and not rest upon our laurels. We are the seekers, not the shepherds.
Interesting. Interesting distinction there. Okay, so passion becomes strength. It's what I asked before, and now strength becomes power. Yeah, there is.
The stronger you become in the Force, the more power you will achieve. But always must you fight for your power. Without strife, your victory has no meaning. Without strife, you do not advance. Without strife, there is only stagnation.
So, how does that... She didn't say anything there. Strength and power are similar. The way she put it, strength and power are synonyms. Anyway, so power and victory. That's this one.
How many sorts of victories can you imagine? Peaceful victory.
Yes.
Victory by sacrifice.
Nah.
A truce. An achievement.
Yeah.
Unless the victory is achieved by demonstrating that your power is superior, it is only an illusion.
How is it an illusion?
Temporary at best.
Why?
We seek more.
How is it temporary? If you achieve a victory by demonstrating that your power is inferior, then you give control over to the other, and it is permanent. How about that? Because the problem is, depends on the victory, what kind of victory you're trying to achieve, what kind of goal you're trying to reach. If you're trying to reach peace above all else, and you subject to another, and you know that the other one, especially if you can play the other one against themselves, if you know the other one just, oh, I want to be power, then you give them the perception and the actual hold on the power that is permanent. That is permanent. And I guess she might be talking about, you know, peace without actually demonstrating that any power is superior, rather than demonstrating that your power is inferior. Because that's the thing. It is possible to achieve victory while yielding, for example. Depends on what your goal is. If you're just fighting, then it's not, you know, what are we talking about here? What victory are we talking about here, really? Because power becomes victory. Yeah. So are you just fight? It's just that for fight. If it's such as fight. If it's a fight, then, I don't know, make a better weapon or something. Or train your stormtroopers or whatever, I don't know. Then next up, victory becomes... Oh, bricks are chains. Yeah, there it is.
This has been argued over, and often. The chains represent our restrictions.
Do they?
Both those placed upon us, and those we place upon ourselves. Ultimately, the goal of any Sith is to free herself from such restrictions. In a way, it is so we may do whatever we wish. But it is much more than that. One who has freed themselves from all restrictions has reached perfection, their potential fulfilled. Perfect strength, perfect power, perfect destiny. Imagine it. That is our ideal, at any rate. It is said in Sith legend that the Sithari, the perfect being, will one day lead us. But perhaps that is just a legend.
I thought that was the actual past. You don't think the Sithari can exist?
I wonder what that being would be like. The legends say the Sithari will destroy us and make us stronger than ever.
Well,
But perhaps that is just a legend.
Well...
Perfection is a goal, I think, rather than a state of being. The Jedi would argue that, no doubt.
Would they? I don't really know what they would argue. I see as many flaws in their arguments than I see in yours. Although, the notion that the Sithari will destroy you... Like, what's the timeline for your prophecy here? Are we talking about 3 years? Because then, yeah, they could destroy you. But if it's like over the course of a millennium or something like that, then they don't need to destroy us. They can just, you know, come next. Or you become the Sithari. Not you personally, because you're gonna die in a few years. Unless, I don't know how long the lifespans are in this game. Or in this setting. Anyway, the broken chains then become the Force. And that's, what's the last one? The Force shall free me. Through power again. Yeah, that's the one.
The Force is our servant and our master, our teacher and our companion, a weapon and a tool. Know it, and you know the universe. Master it, and you master the universe. Strive for perfection, and the Force shall reward you.
It's just words. No, it's not. Like, what? I don't even. Will you know the universe? Will you know the cheapest place where you can, I don't know, just take a vacation? Or would you know the solution for specific math problems that require, I don't know, are you going to be able to program the perfect game? Is that what the Force is going to do? Just words. It's just words.
I am not surprised. The Force is strong with you. Master it, and it shall serve you well.
So I want to know more about these ruins on the surface.
I have been involved in the work there over the last couple of years, but not often. Most of the excavating is left to the students. What did you wish to know?
Is there any way into the tomb of Nagashadow?
Not unless you are accompanied by Master KotOR, no. It is strictly forbidden. And I truly doubt you could bypass the doors to the tomb with anything less than ship blasters. Even then, perhaps.
Huh. So there's no way inside?
None. I do not even know how Master KotOR gains entrance, to tell the truth. Though I look forward to discovering that fact.
I don't think you will.
I have searched many times, so do not bother. There is no other way. Do not fret, however. Simply get the prestige you need, and you will see the tomb soon enough.
Why are the Sith so interested in these ruins?
We could learn much about the history of the ancient Sith. Why they were on Korriban and why they left. Perhaps we could learn more about the origin of the Force itself. With that knowledge could come great power.
Okay, I've heard enough.
As you wish.
So, yeah, we are out of time for the day, so let's ask more things next episode. For right now, I'm KotOR RPG, and this has been Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video if you want to see the next episode come out sooner rather than later. But above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye!